this retailer, good luck. And the bidding would commence. And people would be like, man, I don't know. You'd be examining the images, being like, inside that little picture, I feel like I see something valuable. There's a PlayStation in there. I'm going to bid. And when you're a youngster, Will.
Yeah.
You're looking for any opportunity. You're looking for any angle.
Sure.
You're looking for any... you need to make a few bucks, however... And I had a lot of different businesses going on.
Yeah.
I told you about this.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so I would get this pallet and then break it apart and then test all the goods and then post the things that work and try to fix the things that didn't. Let's just put it this way. This business didn't last very long. Because what I realized was, by the time it makes it to me, the likelihood, it's been picked over so many times, the likelihood I got real value in there, not great.
And then you gotta sell all that stuff.
Which I did.
Throw it out.
I sold a few things.
Okay.
Actually, I did better when I just got into clothing. That was better and easier and more predictable. I could buy up lots of clothing and then like t-shirts and things like that from popular brands and then repost that. It was a better deal at the time. I don't know what's going on right now, but like they can't really break. If there's an issue with a t-shirt, you can tell right away.
Yes. So what's the best thing you got? Not monetary, but just the best thing.
In the gadget pile?
Yeah, or anything.
In the gadget pile, it was actually a few sets of speakers, computer speakers, which were perfectly fine with a subwoofer and like a 5.1. There was a Logitech set and a couple, I think there was from a company, Cyber Acoustics. This was ages ago.
Okay.
But they actually worked perfectly fine and everything was in the box properly, power adapters, everything. Let's see, you're checking if they're still in business right now? Yeah, they are. There you go. Manufacturer of speakers. Yep. Yeah, computer speakers. A lot of stuff was busted, though, man. I'm telling you right now.
Right.
Anyway, so point being is that's what I thought when I read the headline that Amazon is currently, and by the way, that's a huge volume. It's a scary volume. When I heard that they're destroying 130,000 items per week at this one facility, I guess in Scotland, one of their biggest UK warehouses, I was like, maybe that's what it is. But the report, if you look at the video, is actually that they got brand new stuff set up to be destroyed.
Wow.
That's like sealed in a package. And then I'm like, wow, this is deeper than I imagined. And they got the interview with the anonymous employee, and he says there's no rhyme or reason to it. He says some of the stuff is returned. I think he said 20,000 pieces of the 130,000.
Wow, they had a sit down.
Oh, there was a sit down, and it was anonymous with the hood on. It's very covert ITV stuff. And he said the other stuff is no rhyme or reason. Occasional MacBook and iPad are in there, sealed to be destroyed. So then, I don't know, you can rev your conspiracy stuff up. Is it an accounting thing? Do they have to show a certain number of losses? Obviously, the environmental people, groups, would not want to see something like this because it's like very wasteful. The vast majority of it ends at the landfill. Some of it, I guess, gets recycled, but apparently Amazon wants to work towards more donations and things like that. But look, man, my take on that is it's a nearly impossible volume that they're dealing with. Like, these numbers to us sound huge, but I bet you if you saw the number of items shipped out of that warehouse every day for the UK, you'd be like, dear God, how is a company this big?
Right.
How is a company responsible for the goods provided to this population? Because it's probably some staggering figure. But anyway, obviously you would prefer for them to figure out something to do with this as opposed to just chucking it in the trash. But you know what's weird to me, Will? I look at something like this and I'm like, where does all of our stuff end up? I'm like, they're expediting the process. You're sitting there thinking, man, people could get some good use out of it. But then I'm like cleaning my garage the other day and I'm like, man, everything gets thrown out at a point.
Well, yeah, you go to the source, the landfill.
At a point, it's like, how many things are in your life today, Will, that were there 10 years ago?
Not a whole lot.
weird, right? It's not many items that persist in your life. I mean, outside of like maybe one piece of furniture that you held on to, or like, man, it's a lot of this stuff is very disposable. And I'm just saying, I mean, we're part of this segment in tech here where you look at something from 5 years ago and it's a dinosaur. It really feels obsolete outside of a few categories.
Well, disposable, meaning it could be destroyed or it could be donated.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is, we're making all this stuff. Like this impossible churn of goods that you supposedly need. And like 90% of it, you're done with it in like a year. You're like, all right, I got it. Like that was the promise of the product didn't meet. It wasn't. The thing was not important enough to your life to persist beyond that 1 year of use. Let's say. Some things do better. Like probably your mattress.
Yeah.
How long would you have that for?
4 or 5 years, I would say.
That's it? I thought you could get like 10 years.
Well, if I flip it, it would be another 4 or 5 years, right?
I mean, like rotating the tires.
Yeah.
Never crossed my mind.
No? Well,
I guess TVs tend to persist in people's lives a little bit longer. They hang on to those a bit longer. I mean, I don't. For the most part, I don't. But it's just an interesting thought. Even things like cars. Like how long are you? What happens? I mean, eventually, when you consider the amount of effort that goes into these goods and energy and development and things, it's kind of feels like they should hang around longer than they do. But this is an impossible conversation, because if you can't convince people to buy new things, you can't employ the people to make and deliver those things, and it's a terrifying reality. I don't know what happens. I mean, if we're not trading things with one another, if we're not feeling like we have to buy that next item, what is happening in the world? I don't know. It at least hasn't been that way globally in a really long time.
right.
So, but certainly, if there are people that can get use out of things, and you can extend the lifespan of something, it doesn't have to hit the landfill as early, then that's meaningful and useful. And anybody would want that to be the case. Like last night when I'm cleaning the garage, I had an extra dog crate. Like I had so many of these dog crates. And the neighbor rolls past, and she's like, hey, you mind if I had a dog crate? And I said, you take the dog crate, that's beautiful. You need the dog crate? I got the extra dog crate, you take the dog crate.
Yeah.
So that stuff can happen in life, and it's a wonderful thing when somebody can get some more use out of something.
Yeah.
After you're done with it. It can happen. But at the scale of Amazon, imagine the complexity of who's going to get the thing and what kind of contracts need to be in place, and then the expectations. Like even Apple got in trouble when you saw those smashed Apple watches from the service centers. Yeah, man, it's hard to figure it out. Who do you trust? And then you got personal information on the returns because it's gadgets.
Right.
And anyway, you can move to the next one. And this one is a little easier to digest. It's a simple straw that promises to cure your hiccups. That's it. Contraption once and for all. Be done with hiccups. Have you ever had hiccups before, Will?
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah. I think I swallow too quickly.
Really?
Like
I just want to know, when you say all the time, I'm actually curious here.
It's not, well, yeah, it's pretty common, I would say.
I want to know how frequent.
2-3 times a week.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's highly irregular. Right?
No, I think that's pretty regular as far as hiccups go.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
Regular in the sense that you're having the hiccups regularly. I don't know if it's regular compared to other people.
Compared to other people, I would think it would be irregular. Like the amount of it.
Like you're saying, well, definitely if you're comparing to me, I would say I can't even remember the last time I had hiccups.
Exactly, yeah. I feel like that's like a lot of people. Right?
But my kids get hiccups.
Oh.
But maybe they also eat fast too.
Yeah. I don't drink drink enough water while I eat.
Or maybe that's it.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things.
You don't drink it while you eat?
Not really, no. I drink afterwards, which does help with the hiccups. You know, it kind of subsides afterwards.
Why you drink it afterwards?
What's wrong with drinking afterwards?
No, I'm just curious.
I don't know, I like to enjoy my food.
I feel like I need to have a drink nearby in order to enjoy my food properly.
Sure.
Because it acts as like a little reset in between different flavors.
No, I hear you. I hear you. I do that sometimes.
In fact, I remember having gone to the restaurant where they would bring something to cleanse the palate in between the dishes. If you go to like a really fancy restaurant, and it was a sorbet, but like a subtle sorbet. It wasn't super sweet or anything. Like you had this little tiny amount of sorbet that you would eat, and then the next dish would come out.
Every time?
I think it only happened once.
Oh.
In between, like the appetizer and the main dish,
yeah.
And then this thing was in between. And I was like, you know what? I feel reset right now. I'm ready for anything.
Huh.
I'm getting hungry thinking about that. Anyway, this little device, you need it then, Will. If you're 2-3 times a week,
curious.
you actually should get this because apparently in 90% of the people that they studied, this immediately cured their hiccups. So what it is it's a straw with a bend at the top and a tiny little hole on the bottom. And the idea here is that you have to pull really hard to bring water through it. And so you would engage the diaphragm with that amount of suction necessary. And you could trigger the reaction for the nerves to send to the brain that, hey, we're okay, we don't need to keep hiccuping.
Right.
If you scroll down, it will give you some of the science behind why you have hiccups. Yeah.
Okay, well, the name is Hickaway.
Okay, so you're